As she shared, my name is Sharlee Whiddon, and I am a Family and Consumer Sciences Extension Agent here in Gadsden County, Florida, which, if you're not familiar, I am in the Panhandle. I'm kind of just northwest of Tallahassee, so that kind of gives you an idea of where I'm at. But what I get to do as a Family and Consumer Sciences Agent or FCS agent is that I get to share programs that are based on health and wellness with residents here in my county as well as statewide. So I am really excited to be here today during this lunch hour to share sweet celebrations, some holiday treats the Mediterranean way with you. So again, thank you for being here, and thank you already for your participation in the chat with the delicious sweets that you've mentioned. It's always fun to kind of see what people look forward to each holiday season. And I can say that everything that's listed really piqued my sweet tooth. So good choices you've made already. All right. Here we go. All right. So again, just this webinar is for educational purposes. I hope that you all feel welcome. And if you have specific questions about anything that I discussed, please feel free to reach out to me. You will see my contact information on the last slide. So thanks for being here. All right, so our objectives for today, what are we going to do? So we're going to learn some of the key ideas behind eating the Mediterranean way. We're going to discover some simple dessert and snacking alternatives that we can enjoy, as well as practice some mindful eating techniques. So I'm excited and hope you are as well. All right, so the Medway, what does that mean? Some colleagues of mine and I, we just recently shared a series called Cooking Up Health the Mediterranean Way, which shared with attendees some simple ways that they can alter the way that they're eating, preparing food, so they could better their health. What some researchers were learning was that folks who were living in the Mediterranean region were showing better health conditions. They were living longer. So lots of positive things were happening, and they noticed it was around the foods that they were eating and the way that they were eating them. So a lot of the principles behind the Mediterranean way include eating lots of fruits and vegetables. So this is something we should do no matter what eating pattern or eating style we're practicing, but lots of fruits and vegetables. Also eating lots of whole grains, so keeping our grains whole the way they were grown, as well as enjoying eating beans and legumes, which are wonderful ways to get some protein, eating fish and seafood, eating nuts and seeds, so good snacking options there, using healthy fats like olive oil as opposed to maybe the butter and lard that maybe some of us have used for years and years, as well as using herbs and spices. So again, I'm in an extension office. My small farms agent does not really like to see me trying to grow things. So I appreciate when other people grow really nice herbs, and then I can use what they've grown to prepare some nice dishes. But herbs and spices really bring a lot of flavor, and they also bring a lot of personality and character to a dish. You can really add a whole lot to it just by those simple additions. And then also enjoying red wine in moderation. So moderation is a big part of the Mediterranean way. We're going to see lots of colorful food. And when we have that color, a lot of times we have a lot of flavor right there in our food. We want to enjoy our foods in as close to their natural state as possible. So we don't want to take something and really go wild and crazy with the creation, but keeping that food as close to its natural state as possible. And those are some of the big key principles behind the Mediterranean way. So just a quick plug, if you notice that your extension office in your area is offering a program called Cooking Up Health, I highly recommend that you check it out. And so just a little bit more on the Mediterranean way. Like I mentioned, we should be enjoying our food as close to its natural state as possible, but we should enjoy preparing and eating the foods that we're consuming. As a family consumer sciences agent, I spend a lot of time talking about food, which I love because food really does excite me. I will be honest though, sometimes preparing that food is not as exciting as consuming that food. So kind of changing that mindset just a little bit so that we can enjoy preparing the food that we're going to be plating either for ourselves or our family or our friends. So we should really enjoy that. Our food should be delicious. I mean, if we're going to eat it, let's enjoy it. So the ingredients that we combine should really make our food craveable. We should want to eat it by the time we finish preparing it. Our food should be made simply. This should not be a hard thing to prepare our meals each time we're getting ready to eat, but simple ingredients should make simple food prep. And our food should be satisfying. By using natural ingredients and consuming healthy foods, that food should leave us feeling full and satisfied with what we've just enjoyed. So keep it delicious, keep it simple, and it will be satisfying. We want to practice moderation, whether that's with sweets or with certain foods that we really like. We know that overindulging is not a positive thing. So if we're eating things in moderation or enjoying things in moderation, then that's okay. Other than fruits and veggies, it's fine to go wild with those fruits and veggies. Flavorful cooking means that we're appreciating the spices that are on your plate. Maybe you are a wonderful herb grower. So, use what you've worked really hard to grow and add it to your plate each day. That can make it really fun. And it's also satisfying knowing that you've really contributed to what you're about to enjoy. Practicing positive lifestyle habits means that we're exercising regularly. Maybe we're practicing some meditation, some mindfulness that we'll get into a little bit later. Again, this doesn't mean that you're going all wild out in a workout routine, but getting in some walks. You're taking time to enjoy, so you're focusing on a healthy lifestyle there. And community. So one big part of the Mediterranean lifestyle is that folks were really enjoying their food with others. Sometimes it is nice to have some quiet time while we're sitting and eating alone, but food is social and we should enjoy that with others. And sometimes we find whenever we do bring a friend or a family member to the table, we enjoy our food just a little bit more. And that's what we're all about. We want to enjoy what we're filling our bodies with. Sometimes that can mean virtual too. I think using different platforms to reach people that way can be just as satisfying. All right, so 'tis the season for sugar. So before we go too far in this sugar conversation, it's important to remember that sugar is sugar, no matter what kind, no matter the alternatives, sugar is sugar. And let's be honest, sugar is sometimes an emotional indulgence. In that moment, sometimes sugar can make us feel good. It satisfied a little bit of a craving or a little want that you had. And it does signal a release of some serotonin and endorphins. And it's just a good taste sometimes. But we know that overindulging in sugar has a negative effect on our bodies. So it can lead to inflammation. It can lead to the onset of certain diseases and things that we really want to steer away from. So added sugar is what we want to consume less of. Sometimes that's hard because we've grown accustomed to just adding in, a spoonful of sugar here and there. And that's, added sugar is any sugar that's added as an ingredient or a supplement to whatever dish that you're making. So this is what we're looking to consume less of. But again, sugar is sugar. So sugar that's found naturally in foods is not what we're necessarily saying you need to eat less of, but it is important to be aware of. Your dietary restrictions. You know that if you have certain conditions, what you need to be aware of consuming so that we are not overindulging again. But a lot of times we do find sugar found naturally in a lot of our fruits, some in some of our vegetables, as well as a lot of dairy products will often have those natural sugars. So you'll notice here I've got 6 to 9 teaspoons a day is the amount of added sugar that's recommended. Again, it's added, so that's something that you've put into it or something you've purchased that was that had sugar added into it during the preparation process. 6 to 9 teaspoons is not a whole lot. Remember, teaspoon, that's the little spoon, not the big spoon. So you'll consume those pretty quickly if you're not being mindful or being aware of it. And 1 teaspoon is approximately about 4 grams. So if you are really paying attention to those food labels when you're grocery shopping or purchasing different things, you're going to notice that sugar is going to be listed in grams. So just keep in mind that 1 teaspoon is equal to about 4 grams. So just keep that in mind. And then I've got some little slightly startling statistics. But on average, Americans are consuming about 26 to 30 teaspoons daily. It's a lot of sugar. Does anyone have any idea about how much that equals to in pounds per year? Any thoughts? Throw some numbers into the chat. How many pounds of sugar per year do you think that Americans are consuming? Let's see what numbers we get. Okay, 125, 12 to 15. That would actually be much better than the number I'm about to throw at you. So, Americans on average are consuming about 152 pounds of sugar per year. Guys, that's a lot. It's a lot of sugar that we're consuming. So, if we're aware and we're mindful, we're going to make better choices for our body, for our health. All right, so what can we do about that? We can make some sweet swaps. So hopefully you joined today to learn about some recipes that maybe you can try out this holiday season. Again, it doesn't have to be holidays to try them out. You can try them out anytime throughout the year. All right, so just by a raise of hands, either if you're on video or if you want to use the little clickable hand raiser, who enjoys a nice slice of apple pie? I know I do. It's one of my faves. So apple pie is it's one of those things. All right, I'm getting some reactions there. So lots of good apple pie. Okay. I am not an apple pie baker by any chance. I try. Pies are not my specialty. Um, and that's okay. I've got really good friends and family members who are, so I can appreciate their skills and talents, and sometimes that's even a little more fun. But apples are great. I mean, it's a wonderful fruit. Apples are rich in lots of nutrients. They're full of fiber, vitamin C. They're full of antioxidants. So we're getting lots of good things with them. But when we throw them in with a lot of sugar and syrups, which are also sugar, we're kind of taking away a little bit of the good there. They're low in calories, again, until we do all that adding. And if we're consuming apples regularly, there's lots of other good benefits we can get, like lowering our blood sugar levels, improving our heart health, as well as helping to reduce the onset of certain chronic diseases. But again, whenever we change them and we're taking them too far out of their natural state, we're losing a lot of those added benefits. So let's swap this for that. So let's have some baked apples. Again, we want to talk simple ingredients. And while the directions on the right side do look a little strenuous, they're really not. So again, we've got apples. We're going to gather some of your favorite spices. I listed a few examples here, and some brown sugar. Again, that's added sugar, but we're not going wild with it. We're not throwing in teaspoon after teaspoon, but just a little bit. One thing we talked about previously was that Mediterranean lifestyle is all about flavors. And so you're in charge of that whenever you're working and you're making these dishes. So on this one in particular, I didn't list amounts because that's going to be up to you. So you get to decide, how much of the cinnamon you're going to add in on there. But very simple, we're going to core the apples, which can be a little bit of a challenge. I will say that having some good kitchen tools is key to all of this. So when we core our apple, you can see we've kind of cut the top off, and we're just going to cut right around the middle using a good paring knife. You do want a good sharp paring knife. Or you can use an apple corer, but sometimes we know we've got that paring knife handy, and we're going to cut just around the core in a nice little circular motion, and we're going to gently push or pull out that core. So we've kind of created a nice pocket right there in the middle of that apple. Now you've taken your spices, your little bit of brown sugar, maybe your 1 teaspoon of brown sugar, and we're going to fill that hole right there in the middle of your apple. Um, and we're gonna just however many apples you want to do. And there's not a specific type of apple either. So you know your palate best. You know what varieties you like or you have available in your area. And so we're just gonna put those in a nice casserole dish. We're gonna add a little bit of water in the bottom because we're gonna have it, it's gonna go steaming a little bit once we put it into the oven. And then we're going to bake them 375 for about 40 to 45 minutes. And guys, if you like a simmer pot, this is almost the same thing, but you're getting the benefits of this is edible. So your kitchen's going to really start to smell nice. If you're looking to get into maybe the holiday spirit, this is going to lift those spirits a little bit, as well as getting those taste buds activated. If you don't want to go through the oven, these can also be microwaved. Just make sure your dish is microwave safe. Microwave for about 4 minutes. I would recommend maybe doing just one or two at the time if you're going to do these in a microwave. And then we've got to practice patience. We're going to pull out our dish from either the oven or the microwave. And guys, those apples that we put in there are going to be a bit warm. So we don't want to damage those taste buds that are excited and can't wait for those apples. So we're going to let them sit for just a little bit, and then we're going to enjoy. I think once you try this, this is going to be a great swap from that delicious apple pie to some very yummy baked apples. I dare you to give it a try. All right, another sweet swap, muffins. We eat muffins all the time in my household. Um, I want to see if you want to throw into the chat your favorite type of muffins. I'm a banana muffin. One of my sons is a blueberry muffin man. A blueberry, there it is. Ooh, cranberry orange. Pumpkin, yes. Apple streusel. I'm liking these. Orange chocolate. I may have to give that one a try. All right. So yeah, there's so many different ways that we can make muffins. Um, but most muffins we find are really just a little step away from being a cake because a lot of times we've got a lot of added sugar in them again. But we're going to swap these nice sugary muffins for that of some delicious med muffins. Now they're just called med because they're Mediterranean style muffins. So the recipe I have here on the screen is for some banana nut med muffins. Again, this list of ingredients and the directions looks really extensive. But again, I promise this is a very simple muffin recipe to put together. And again, we're catering it towards your flavor profile. You know what you like, you know what you'll eat. So add that in. There may be some things that aren't listed here. Maybe you see something. If you notice something that you would put into a muffin recipe, throw it in the chat. I love any ideas. But of the recipes that I'm sharing today, this is my favorite. Again, like I said, we eat a lot of muffins at our house. Every Monday is Muffin Monday, so I cook up a lot of muffins, and they're always available. They don't typically last throughout the week, but it's a quick, easy grab and go, either breakfast or snack. Again, we can add things that are going to give us lots of nutrition. So this recipe in particular, we're going to use overripe bananas. I mean, how often do we buy a bunch of bananas and think, yeah, I'm going to eat all of these, and then we've got those two that just kind of linger, and they start to really change colors, and we really start to smell banana in the kitchen. So if we can use those overripe bananas and put them into some muffins, then we're going to have less food waste. But again, bananas are full of good nutrition. I've got some apples listed here. Again, we talked about all the benefits that we get from apples. Chopping them up, we don't have to peel them. We can leave that skin on. Again, that skin's full of good nutrition. Maybe you don't like apples. Let's use a pear. that's very interchangeable. So again, cater it to your likings. A cup of chopped nuts. That could be pecans, that could be pumpkin seeds, that could be sunflower seeds, anything you want to add in there. I think last time I made some, I did use walnuts and almonds. They were amazing. We're going to add in a couple of eggs, some old-fashioned oats. And I will say the old-fashioned oats, you do need those. You don't really want to alter. I tried with some quick cook and it did kind of change a little bit. Still ate them. They were consumed. They were not wasted. I add cinnamon in almost everything. I love cinnamon. So I have that on here. Maybe you've got another spice that you want to throw in there. uh, Baking powder, some baking soda, and a dash of salt. Salt is something I have to watch a whole lot. So for me, anytime I add salt, it is just a dash. And that was something that I learned from my grandmother when I was cooking, that just a dash will do. So again, very simple. We're not going to dirty up a lot of dishes. We're going to mash that banana. We're going to add in the apples, the nuts, the eggs, and then we're going to mix it really well. Then we want to add in all of our dry ingredients, so our spices, our powders, our baking soda, and then we're going to mix all of that together. I'm going to be honest, it may not be the most eye-appealing as you're making it, but just wait. The good is coming, I promise. So, if you want to make cleanup even easier, let's throw in some muffin cups into your muffin pan. And then we're going to bake them. Guys, again, these smell delicious while they're baking. I've baked them here in my office, and I'll have people walking into the kitchen just like drooling and ready to eat them up. So they smell amazing, but guys, they taste even more amazing. If you need to add in, you can add in a little flaxseed or some chia seeds, all these things. We can just throw it full of nutrition, full of good things. You will want to let them sit because they are hot, hot, hot. Again, we don't want to mess up those taste buds that we've got excited about consuming this food. So do let them sit for just a little bit. And again, I have here that you can store them in the refrigerator for about 4 to 7 days. I don't know that we've made it 4 days with them still out. So I will say that 2 to 3 day, they're still delicious. They still taste very fresh. Again, I think you're going to love this. Makes a great breakfast. Wonderful with a nice cup of coffee. Yeah, give these a try. You could throw in some cranberries. I mean, the ideas are endless. So yeah, so if you make these and you kind of add in your own flair, I would love to hear about it. So you'll get my contact at the end. So you may have to send me your additions to the recipe. All right, another sweet swap. Chocolate bark. It's kind of like a holiday tradition. Again, this is also really nice to pair with a cup of coffee, but man, oh man, at the added sugar. Lots and lots. Again, this is something we're going to customize. So we're going to swap this chocolate holiday bark for some delicious yogurt bark. As I shared earlier, I recently did a series on cooking up health the Mediterranean way, and I think the yogurt bark was one of the top recipes that we did. Again, guys, it's so simple. It's very easy to make. And again, it's all about you. You get to choose how you spice and flavor it up. So we're going to take some non-fat Greek yogurt, some berries, any type of fruit, some crunchy toppings, just because that's fun. So we can add in some granola, some nuts, coconut. I will not add coconut to mine. You could add in, maybe some dark chocolate if you're wanting to sweeten that a little bit. But again, you get to pick. I did add some pumpkin seeds and some sunflower seeds, and at first I thought I'm kind of silly, but I had just a little bit left in the bottom of a bag. Guys, it was still good. It's so simple to make. So we're going to take a baking sheet. The parchment paper is key. You want to have that because at some point you've got to get it off of that baking sheet. And without that parchment paper, you're stuck. with a baking sheet with frozen yogurt. So parchment paper is key. Spread out the paper, spread your yogurt on top. It does say a thin layer. Again, I'm a little wild and go a little rogue. So I was like, well, let me try it in a thick layer. Again, it does the same thing. It's just going to take longer for it to freeze. So again, it's all up to you. You are the chef. So spread your yogurt out, sprinkle the toppings across, put it in the freezer. Simple, simple, simple. We haven't dirtied a lot of dishes. We've got it sitting and waiting. Once it's frozen, this is the fun part. You get to break it into pieces. I made this with a friend and she like broke out a knife and a pizza cutter. I pulled mine off and I just went to breaking it in pieces with my hands. It's a lot of fun. It's cold. Again, guys, this is frozen yogurt. Um, it saves really easily. So just throw it in a freezer safe Ziploc bag or an airtight plastic or glass container, something that's going to stay safe in the freezer, and you can eat on it. It's a really quick, easy snack. So it's also, it will also help with some hydration as well. Um, Again, it's delicious. We're not going to leave it out all day, sitting by our coffee pot or anything. We do want to be mindful not to leave it sitting out on the counter. It's going to melt. But delicious, and it's very satisfying. It's really fun. Again, I think from my class, this was a top recipe. So simple, so simple. How long can they sit on the table? Um, you're probably maybe even a little shorter than that. So this is something you're going to want to consume as it's brought out because it is frozen yogurt, or it's just going to be hard to pick up. So I think I left it out for about within 15 minutes, it was gone. So I haven't really tested the length of time. But if you do have it out, I would recommend not putting it near any warm food. So if you've just made some baked apples, maybe put it on the opposite side of the table from those baked apples you made. But it's really good. This is great for children. And again, if you're trying to get some good nutrition into some children in your life, fun way to get them involved. They can choose the toppings, and I think they'll be a lot more likely to eat it. So yes, the granola and full of sugar. So again, that's where reading your food labels really comes in handy. So checking out what you're purchasing, and then altering that. Again, we know how much each of us should be consuming of anything being sugar. So just be very mindful of that because you're right. Granola can be chock full of sugar if we're not careful. All right. And this is a fun, easy thing to theme. So if you've got a holiday party and you've got certain colors going, bring out your reds with strawberries or raspberries. You could throw some grapes in there. I may recommend kind of cutting those up as they're going to freeze. And do keep in mind that the fruits are going to freeze too. So when you go to bite into them, let's don't go too hard because we don't want anything to get those teeth hurting. All right, our next sweet swap, cookies. So I want everyone to share their favorite holiday cookie in the chat. So what kind of cookies do we enjoy? Peanut butter is my favorite. Pumpkin, shortbread, anything chocolate, absolutely. Gingerbread, biscotti. Yeah, and a lot of these things are seasonal, so we're only going to make them, once a year. But maybe some of these swaps will be something you'll add in a lot more. So I'm seeing snickerdoodles, basic chocolate chip, can't go wrong. Pressed glazed butter cookies. Ooh, lots of great ideas. So here we've got a big platter with lots of different types of cookies on it. So let's do a sweet swap. So this tray of cookies for, there it is, for some mango ginger bars. Perfect combination. So we got some chewy oatmeal, some sweet mango, fresh ginger, and jam. They're sweet, but they're not too sweet. These bars are a great cookie replacement. Use the jam flavor of your choice. So we're catering to your flavor profile. It looks like this one we've got maybe some strawberry jam and some peach jam that's on top. So you can mix and match. Again, if we're wanting to theme, we can go with colors. But really, we're going for the flavors that you like, the flavors that you're going to enjoy. So this recipe is calling for some frozen mango. We're going to thaw it out, chop it up, quick cook oats. Notice the difference. We previously used the steel. This time we are going for quick cook. You could use the other ones. We do have some added white sugar, but again, moderation is key. We're not going wild and crazy. We've got some maple syrup and ginger. Guys, ginger is your friend. It's full of so many health benefits. I love ginger. It helps relieve digestive issues that you may be having. It can be immune building. It can improve your circulation, lower blood pressure, help speed up metabolism. So it's got so many good benefits. So ginger is a fun thing to just throw around and enjoy. And then we want to also make sure we've got a good half a cup of jam, whatever you choose. Let's mix it up and let it stand. So we want to give those ingredients time to kind of mix together. It's going to get a little bit of firmness to it, not really too firm, but then we're going to press it into our pan. We're going to bake it. They smell amazing. They smell, again, so good. So we're using our senses. We're going to remove them, top it with the jam, and put them back in. So we want to give that jam an opportunity to really mix with the bar itself. And again, you're going to pull it out and you're going to go, wow, I'm going to just grab a bite. Let it cool, guys. Let it cool. Don't damage those taste buds. A wonderful, delicious cookie swap. Again, we do have some sugar in it, so everything is fine in moderation. All right, now let's do a fun drink swap. So we've talked about these delicious sweets. One way that we as Americans end up consuming a lot of added sugar is through the drinks that we consume. And we don't think about those as much because they go down quicker. A lot of times they don't fill us up. And so we don't think about that added sugar that we're just consuming. So let's swap this soda of sorts for a cranberry lime soda. Again, like I said, my participants really enjoyed having something that they could come in and sip on during our class, and this quickly became a favorite. Super simple. You want to coordinate with a theme. You can match your fruit or the color of your 100% no sugar added juice. And you can add in some color to your table. You're in charge of the amounts. These are just some suggestions I've got here. So make it fun. So grab some cranberry juice. Again, no sugar added. A little bit of club soda. Mix them together. It's fun. We see bubbles. We hear the fizz. So we're getting all of our senses involved again. And then let's throw in a slice of lime. Limes are also really good. You can squeeze it or just drop it in there and enjoy a quick, easy swap. And it's fun, it's festive, so give that a try this holiday season. All right, so I hope you enjoyed those recipe swaps, and that's something that you're going to try. But I also want to talk a little bit briefly about some mindful eating. So mindful versus being mindless. So when we're mindful, we're fully present and aware of our current state. This allows us to observe our thoughts and our feelings without any judgment. So when we're eating with awareness, this involves all of your senses. And this allows you a stronger opportunity to experience your food. So you're not just consuming your food, but you're getting an opportunity to really experience it. This is going to require you to really slow down, and it's going to promote some healthier eating habits. So your body's going to be able to retain a lot more of those nutrients, those good things we talked about in several of our fruits. And so your body's going to hold on to them and digest them a lot more properly if we're slowing down. So we want to be present and enjoy every aspect of the food that we're enjoying. And again, when we slow down and we're present, we are able to more fully enjoy. And we're going to make more intentional choices about the foods that we enjoy. Because when we're slowing down, we're thinking more. So each bite that's going in, we're able to see it a little bit longer. And then we'll know, oh, this is a good choice for my body. Or I think I've probably reached my max of added sugar. So I'm going to put this cookie down and let someone else have it. So I do encourage you to take time to be a mindful eater this season as you're enjoying some of these sweets. And I can't just turn you loose without giving you an opportunity to practice some mindful eating. So I know this is lunch hour, and some of you may be eating now as you're listening to this. But if you have maybe a little bite of something or a little piece of fruit, it's an opportunity for you to join in, or you can use your imagination. And you're going to get pretty much the same effect. So it may be a little awkward as you're getting started, but I do encourage you to participate. So if you can practice this habit, this is going to help you to slow down and to be more mindful about what and how you're eating. And this is going to make your food more of an experience, which is also really good for your mental health, which is something we can all take time to work on. So if you have a small piece of food or you're taking a bite, or just use your imagination, think about something good, just a little piece that you can put in your mouth, maybe a raisin. So we're going to put that little bite or piece of something in your mouth and close your eyes. So I'm going to give you just a moment to join me in that, but do not begin chewing yet. So just let that little bite sit on your tongue, and I want you to focus on the flavors. See if you can notice anything that really stands out in the flavor and the texture. Think about how it feels and the shape of what's in your mouth, the firmness, and just take a few seconds just to take all that in. So it's just sitting on your tongue. We're not chewing. We're being still and present. So I want you to just focus on your thoughts while you're doing this. Still resisting the urge to chew. Go back to the flavor. Does it even have any flavor? Is the flavor too much? How about the texture? Is the texture smooth? Is it rough? What shape is the food? Has it changed the shape? Has it begun to soften because it's been sitting there for so long now? And now I want you to slowly begin to chew. Take it nice and slow. Notice how your tongue, your teeth, and your jaw move with each bite. Has anything changed with the flavor, with the texture, with the shape? And now slowly begin to swallow. Sense the muscle movements in your throat and your tongue. How does it feel? Just take a few moments, a few seconds, just to kind of think about that. And once you've completely swallowed your bite, I want you to take a deep breath, open your eyes, and just kind of ponder on that experience a little bit. What was it like? It's probably a little awkward. Was this a new experience with that bite of food? Did you find that you approached the food differently? Did it taste differently because you were so focused on finding flavors or the texture? Is this something that you've eaten many times and maybe never noticed? And again, you're not going to do this with each bite, but as we're focusing maybe this holiday season on tasting new treats, or you know that there's going to be some very tempting sweets, if we take time to just be very mindful and enjoy maybe just a bite or two as opposed to an entire chocolate chip cookie, we'll appreciate it a lot more. So I do encourage you to practice some mindful eating techniques. This was very simple, but it's very effective. I found that as I've started eating more of a Mediterranean style diet, I do find flavors to be more fun. I am enjoying preparing my food even more because I'm looking forward to finding all those flavors when I put it into my mouth. And I know that what I'm putting into my body is going to be better for it. So again, I want to thank you for joining. I hope that you are going to feel inspired to maybe try out some of these delicious holiday sweet swaps. I would love to hear about it if you do. My email is here on the screen. So feel free to send me a success story if there was something you really liked, or maybe you altered the recipe a little bit. I'd love to hear about it. I'm always up for trying new things. So I wish you and your friends and family a wonderful and happy holiday season.